Hello everyone, welcome back to the SMITE Guide to Ymir. This time we're going to be building a sort of warrior Ymir. Now, I never go 100% all-out damage Ymir. Not that it can't work. Anything can work if you put your mind to it and practice enough. I just don't really like that because building power on Ymir has sort of has conditions. See, for magic damage, only 20% of your magic power is going to your auto attacks. For Ymir, when the enemy is affected by frostbite, that goes up to 40%, obviously, because he's doubling his auto attack power, obviously. Still not a lot. His ult has absolutely massive scaling. I think his ult is like 120, 125%, roughly around there, scaling. So his ult scales hugely with magic power. If you build 100 power on Ymir, his ult will be doing roughly 120 to 130 extra damage. But his wall doesn't scale at all. So you do want to be very careful with the idea of building pure magic power on Ymir. What I tend to do is focus very specifically on his auto attacks, and I'll explain that a little bit more as I go into the build, but you're going to want to be going into a couple of attack items, a couple of defense items, and the defense items that I usually build on Warrior Ymir, as I call it, are very specific. These are very specific items that I've chosen for very specific reasons. To some extent, this can change with compositions, with team compositions, but not a whole lot. For example, against this team composition, this is pretty classic, 3 physical, 2 magic. I've got some people who do some good auto-attacking, so that's really good. So we're going to put 1 point in all 3 of our skills, obviously, very important, and we're going to go into Gilded Arrow. Now, that plus 25 basic attack damage is going to double, but what's more important than that, than the potential 50 basic attack damage, is the gold you get. See, normally when you play Ymir, you go into Sentinel's Gift, but since we're not building that, we're going to somewhat start falling behind. Now, the first thing we're actually going to do is go into Breastplate of Valor here. There's a specific reason for this. Reason 1 is cooldowns. A big part of your damage output is afflicting enemies with frostbite, as you can see up there. It lasts for 6 seconds, but you'll notice the default cooldowns of both of your abilities is 8 and 16 seconds respectively. Glacial Strike is 8, Frost Breath is 16. Right, that's a pretty long amount of time. So you need a certain amount of cooldowns, and Breastplate of Valor will give that to you. Now, Breastplate of Valor is a really safe opening build because, again, a lot of your opponents are going to be predominantly physical. There's 3 physical classes. If you bring this into the solo lane, you will find that most of your laning opponents are, in fact, warriors, and therefore doing physical damage. So this is a really safe opening item to build with. You're going to want to start with that. So you have the Gilded Arrow for the auto attack damage, which is going to just be really nice and lovely. You're going to get that doubled, and you're going to go with the Breastplate of Valor. Now, you're actually going to want to start your match building your protections. The reason why is because in the early game, you're really going to be primarily increasing your damage output by your flat damage and by leveling up, right? So you don't need to worry quite as much about building power yet. That comes later. Right now, you can do a pretty good job just inflicting your damage via your flat damage. This is actually why I'm increasing Glacial Strike. Increasing Glacial Strike is your wave clear, and you're gonna need that. Again, we don't have Sentinel's Gift, so we really don't have any kind of option for farming through assists. I'm gonna get killed by King Arthur here. Yeah, I got absolutely smashed. They came over from right lane. That's fine. Your early game is gonna be a bit rough with warrior type Ymir. That's okay. Don't worry about it too much. You'll catch up in the late game. Now, again, we're going to keep on going towards our Breastplate of Valor. They were really able to pick up somebody over there, which is good. Zunqui's out of mana, so if we can aggress on him, that's fine. And you'll notice I still use that wall defensively. That was just an opportunity thing. Usually, you're going to use your wall to prevent enemies from escaping is the usual scenario there. So don't necessarily go so gung-ho with the wall. You want to be pretty judicious about this. For example, right, that was a waste of a wall right there. I should have saved it for right here. That would have been way better. Okay, we'll just do some poke there and just leave. King Arthur's looking at me, but I really don't care. I'm more concerned about Thor. I'm going to put this over here. I thought he was going to go on to me. There we go. Okay, I got my golden arrow proc, which was pretty important. Get that gold. Didn't get that one, but that's fine. And there we go. That is kind of exactly where we want to go with that. I'm surprised he went back in. If I'd known he was going to swing back in, I would have held my ult for longer and probably killed him. I didn't think it was going to be that insane. There we go. Now notice that I did like 100 and some odd, like 127 or something damage to that minion there with the golden arrow. It was tough to see, but if you were paying attention, you probably saw it. That was good. I am surprised you didn't go for me with that, but okay. Now, you just used your everything. I see 108. I'm going to back up here because I'm going to get slapped by King Arthur. I'm still going to want to... Oh, no. That's a lost cause. Oh, wait. Hold on. We have opportunities here. Yep. There we go. And now I just got to not get killed by Argus. Oh, he's dead. Never mind. That's fine. We're going to take that win. We're going to see where Zonkui is because I really don't want to get surprised slapped by Zonkui. We're going to come over here. That's fine. We're going to get those assists. We're going to go back. We have, I need to press the right key for this. We've got Breastplate of Valor. Gonna finish that. We're gonna go into Shogun's Kusari. The only time I don't go into Shogun's Kusari is if there's nobody else benefiting from that aura. Right now I've got Artemis, I've got Gilgamesh, and I've got the Morrigan, all of whom benefit from auto attack boosts. The Morrigan has great auto attacks. Gilgamesh has great auto attacks. Obviously Artemis has great auto attacks. It's just a magical time for everyone involved. Notice I did 130 damage there, so yes, if you were unsure whether or not the golden arrow was going to double your damage output on your auto attacks, yes it does. And I hope that gives you the proof. Okay, I really didn't need to ult there, that was excessive. Yep, here she comes. I almost caught her. If she'd moved a little bit farther up, I would have absolutely caught her with that. I'm going to go in here because this is a good... Nope, they're already backing off. No. I could have walled him off and gotten a little bit closer, but I wanted to wait a little bit on that. Where's Thor currently? Okay, there's him. I've got 7 more seconds on my blink. I might come over here and kill Hera. Or not. Or completely with that. That works too. Yeah, you're not doing anything. That was a horrific whiff. Alright, there's Thor. We're gonna go on to Thor, I think. Beads, huh? Good beads. That was actually really well timed, considering all things. She used that right away. She cleansed my freeze, which would have definitely killed her. That was good. That hurt. Okay, good. I picked up both of those. Got my procs, got my gold. Now you'll notice I use the freeze. My Glacial Strike is up. I use the Glacial Strike. My freeze will be up. Oops, didn't want to press that. Alright, and then we're going to get our last 30%. Oh, I actually got interrupted in my thought process. The only time I don't build this is when I am the only one benefiting from it, in which case I'll build Oni Hunter's Garb. That'll really help keep you alive, which is primarily what it's there for. So... Oh, I missed that. Barely. Come here. Okay, got the damage in there, but not too much. Again, don't worry about your power yet. Once we're done with Shogun's Kusari, then we're going to have to somewhat seriously think about what's next. Again, I almost always build Breastplate of Valor when I'm building Warrior Ymir. Usually Shogun's Kusari, sometimes Oni Hunter's Garb. It depends on how many other allies can benefit from my Shogun's Kusari. In this particular case, I've got 3 other allies that do, so it's worth it. So we're going to go back. Pretty low scoring game overall. Again, we're playing... I also want to reiterate that we're playing pretty cautiously because usually you'd be getting the healing benefits of Sentinel's gift, right? You know, every time you got an assist, you get a little bit of health and mana back. We don't have that here. While we're able to make up for the loss of gold from Sentinel's gift using Gilded Arrow, we can't really make up the loss of healing or mana regeneration that we would normally get from that. Shoot. I goofed that wall. Oh, I don't think we would have killed him even if... Well, we would have killed him if I gotten it right, but goofing it didn't unkill him. Which, that makes no sense as a statement. Oh, we're going to go in then? Alright. But you kind of need to use your ultimate before you die. Is he ulted? No, I don't think he has, but I don't really want to fight him right now. I know for a fact Hera's over here still. There she is. She doesn't seem to have Argus. Now, every time you freeze somebody, before you use Glacial Strike, hit him once. If you build up enough attack speed, you can probably hit him twice. Alright, now we have Glacial Strike and Frost Breath maxed. We are now going to start thinking about building some power. Alright, now in this particular context, what do we want? Well, we have 3 magics, so we can get away with some really nice magic protection reduction. I'm going to be looking at Demonic Grip. Do we have enough healing to build Toxic Blade? No, they do not. These 2 are self-healing, and that's it. So that's not enough to justify the purchase of Toxic Blades. We're going to go into Demonic Grip. Again, we're kind of still looking to help out our allies at least a little bit here. Demonic Grip is going to increase our attack speed. It's going to allow us... Alright. No, you're not going to make it out of this alive. Neither are you. Ta-da. I'm going to go ahead and take this really quick. Notice I'm doing 170 damage here with 88 power. That's, of course, the camps still have a certain amount of protections, but you generally are getting the idea here. We're now starting at this point to do enough damage where we can actually get people killed. We're just starting to. Once we finish Demonic Grip, we can actually start fights on our own without necessarily needing help. Depending on how many enemies are over in the nearby area, obviously. That was a whiff. Ah, Thor is here. I'm gonna get killed. I didn't know Thor was over there. That was a mistake. Okay, so now we have Demonic Grip, which is really big news, alright? At this particular point, where you want to go from here depends. Again, they don't have enough healing at this point to necessarily justify picking up, say, Toxic Blade. What I am feeling is Stone of Fall. This will give us some protection, this will give us magic power, this will give us some great damage mitigation, which Ymir really enjoys, because obviously his passive gives us 10% damage reduction from enemies anyways, so that really stacks well with that. We're already auto-attacking pretty aggressively anyways, so that'll stack very quickly. So I'm kind of leaning towards Stone of Fall, but I don't have enough gold for it right now, so we're going to sit on the gold, wait, and figure out if we really need it. I mean, they're a pretty aggressive team composition. They only have 1 front line, so I am leaning towards Stone of Fall to really counterbalance the amount of damage output the enemy team has. Yes, Zonkwi is building protections, but even as a mage, he's without that much power, he can still slap pretty hard, so I do want to respect that. And of course, King Arthur is building Hybrid here, so he's still doing a decent amount of damage, so we also, again, want to respect that. Go for our, that was a mistake. You can just come in here and... Is that behind me? Doesn't matter. It's Thor, alright. He did teleport to that, alright. Ah, if you didn't have that... Oh, wait. And that's the glory. Notice, a big part of that was Demonic Grip reducing his protections. You'll notice that I was hitting harder and harder as time was going on. That was Demonic Grip really pulling off a lot of damage there. We're definitely going to want Stone and Fall, though I was taking a lot more damage than I was comfortable with at that time. Now, you'll notice I've also been shorting my... I haven't been putting too much into my magic protections at this point. Honestly, even though Zonkwi is a mage, he is building protections, so he's going to hit decently hard, but not too hard. Hera's a really big threat, but we just eliminated her very quickly. Of course, we're actually building our own damage here, so eliminating Hera on our own if we need to is not that much of a problem. You immediately procced that. I'm going to die here to him because King Arthur. Yeah, I kind of figured King Arthur was going to kill me there, which is a bit unfortunate, but I could have still killed Charybdis even with Aussie, so that's fairly potent. You could see where I was going to very likely kill her if she didn't do anything, if she didn't escape out. If King Arthur wasn't there, I probably would have killed her Stone and Fall, of course, will help us survive even more fights. And we're going to do another check for... Okay, yeah, we have Soul Gem on Hera at this point. I kind of feel like Toxic Blade is a really good pickup here. They are starting to build enough self-heal to justify that. That's going to increase our auto-attack speed, of course. It's going to give us some flat penetration, which combos really well with Demonic Grip. Demonic Grip is more about eliminating the tanks. The Toxic Blade's 10 flat protection will really go well with the Demonic Grip because it'll take after Demonic Grip. So even if the enemy has only a couple of protections, we're still going to be able to more seriously affect their protections later on. The glory of the wall. Get the slow, get the kill by accident. That's fine. Okay, we're actually not going to engage that. We're going to leave them to that. We're going to go over here. Mostly because I don't want to engage Hera right now. I can tank this tower briefly. And then we're going to back up. And then we're going to really slap this. Now, I'm not doing much damage to the tower because I have Demonic Grip. I don't have penetration. Demonic Grip does not affect phoenixes and towers, but that's fine. We are playing warrior type, so our job is not to eliminate towers. That's not our job. It just is not. I think I still did the damage. It just wasn't enough to kill him. Is he building protections at this point? He is not. I just didn't do enough damage. Okay. That's a bit of a bold move. I need to get Stone and Fall procs. Not enough. Not enough. Okay. I can respect that. Oh, that's not a problem, Artemis. Now, again, he's got self-heal. He's got lifesteal here. He's starting to build damage. Alright. He probably just splashed that in for the passive, honestly. Which is fine. I can respect that. Gonna get ourselves Toxic Blade. I'm sorry, that's 15 penetration, not 10, pardon me. But it's still gonna really help. As an example, really quick, while they're fighting, I'm gonna take, who's got a small, she's got a small amount of magic protection. She's got 45 protections, right? Demonic Grip, where am I? Here I am. Demonic Grip is 10% for 3 turns, so 30% of 45 is only 15 downs. That brings her down to 30. The 15 from Toxic Blade brings her down to 15, of course. So, you can really see how that works really well on squishier targets. It really helps. It basically cuts down the remaining protections left over from Demonic Grip by half. And Charybdis is a fairly standard amount of magic protections for a damage dealer. She's building no protection items. She's got no way of increasing her defense. Again, you usually are using the wall to prevent the enemy from fleeing you, because you don't have a whole lot of, you don't have any chase, so what you're essentially trying to do is prevent them from using their escapes, or at least cutting off their escape or something like that. Right? That's your end goal. Now at this point, we're probably going to finish the game before I can really show you, unfortunately, which is a bit unfortunate. I would have liked to have shown you. I figured she'd do that. Oh, you beads immediately. I'm not fighting you under Phoenix. That's not going to happen. Absolutely not. Get out of here. Alright, maybe I will have enough time to show you. I kind of want to engage, but that Charybdis is really scaring me here. Charybdis and King Arthur is not a happy combination. I might go over there and see if I can save... No. Yeah. She was being too aggressive. We're going to back up here, yeah. I don't have enough gold, actually, to do what I want to do. Let's see if we can go grab that. See if we can grab this mana buff over here and get the, what is it, 1,500 gold, I think I need? Yeah. Perfect. Not quite enough gold, but we can clear this wave, I guess. Now notice I've got nice high attack speed here. Almost 2.0 attack speed. Obviously, when I get my next level up, I'll have 2.0, and I'll have even more when I get the arrow there, the diamond arrow, I think. Good amount of gold there. We're just playing this safe. Oh, that was a goof. We're just going to back this up. Alright, I'm not sure how I got that specifically, but alright. Now I just need to get out of here alive. That's not gonna happen. Nope. I cut myself off. That's unfortunate. Diamond arrow. And now, notice, hold on. I want you to notice the attack speed in the bottom left there. 113. 168. Alright, and of course, when we get a kill on an enemy, we get 20% attack speed. That stacks up to 3 times. That's pretty big news. Alright, and this is where we're really going to start to slap. You can start engagements on your own and win some fights, as the Thor fight earlier exemplified when you get Demonic Grip. That's really when you can start seriously fighting. Toxic Blade is something I built for the anti-heal because obviously they are healing. He's got, you know, Warrior's Axe. She's got Soul Gem. She has Aussie, obviously. He's got his self-heal and the Spirit of the Magus. I'm going to go ahead and grab Heavenly Wings here. And we've got all these. And, of course, notice, again, I have 95 magic power, 142.5 bonus damage on Shards of Ice. You'll notice that Frost Breath is about 50%, and Glacial Strike is about 60%, I think. Just clear that out a little bit there. You survived that. Ah. Nope, I can't. I'm not that fast. Not fast enough for that. Yeah, you already see me coming. That's not worth it anymore. Let's grab this really quick then. Notice the diamond arrow stack. I now have almost... Right, this is going to be a bit of a problem. Okay, this is a problem. There's too many enemies here. I'm going to die. Yeah. Tribus has Executioner. That's going to be a problem. We'll grab this. We'll grab Push of Power. He shouldn't have done that. He should have just kept auto-attacking. He would have killed the Thor then. The kick is what saved the Thor. He shouldn't have done the kick. She shouldn't be going in by herself like that. Oh, that was actually a good move, though. I think she waited too long to transform, though. Agni's gonna... See, now the problem is we keep going in one by one. That was what I started. I started it, honestly. But they really should have just backed off, let him take the Phoenix. That was a huge slap. What do you have built? Rod of Tahuti, Soul Reaver... Okay. Ah, shoot. So close. I'm going to leave this up, though, because the point I wanted to make was that you can actually do a decent amount of damage with Ymir if you build him properly. Now, I had decent amounts of protections. Obviously, Tribus was a problem for me, but Tribus is an ADC. She's supposed to be a problem for warriors and for guardians anyways. And that last death I had was entirely me being too aggressive at that point. Too eager to show you what he can do, but I think there were some really great examples in that match of what you really can do with Ymir. Now, again, a certain amount of this build was customized to the situation. Again, if I don't build Shogun's Kusari, I go into Oni Hunter's Garb, because that's really going to help out, you know, keeping you alive. If you still want to build Shogun's Kusari, even if you're the only one getting any benefits, that's fine. That is entirely your choice. It is going to be strong either way. It's just something that I don't necessarily build if I'm the only one benefiting from it. Obviously, the Diamond Arrow / the Gilded Arrow were hugely important to doing damage with Ymir. If you're going to be building a warrior-type Ymir, this is a must. Again, first off, for the gold, to make up for the gold that you aren't getting from Sentinel's Gift, and second, to actually increase even your early game damage to a respectable amount. Even if you're playing Ymir in the solo lane, which I'll exemplify in an episode later on in this series, you'll still want this. Right, at the end of the day, you still will always want this as your starter item if you're building any kind of damage with Ymir. The benefits of this are absolutely phenomenal. Demonic Grip, usually I build this. Again, I had enough magic damage on my team to justify this. Even if I'm the only one doing magic damage, I won't build this. But if there's even just one other person, I'll build this. Stone of Fall I built because of the enemy team comp was abnormally tanky. If they hadn't been, I might have built Talisman of Energy, potentially. or what have you. They were a very high damage team composition, and I think partially I didn't respect that enough in terms of my gameplay. I was playing too aggressively, and I think that my teammates probably didn't respect that enough either, but that's fine. And then Toxic Blade for their self-heal, the flat penetration, the attack speed. You can do a really good job. I broke even, so I did alright as Ymir. It was a very mediocre performance as Ymir. I've done better and I've done worse as warrior type Ymir. I still don't really ideally prefer to play him, but I wanted to show you this for the first time in Clash to really demonstrate, first off, how flexibly that he really can be built, and second off, he really can do well with a little bit of damage on him. As long as you make sure you sprinkle in some protections in there as well, it's a really good... It can be a really good build. It's a little bit more effective in Joust if you're going to go in that direction. Just splash in a Gilded Arrow and you'll surprise everyone with how much damage you're doing. And that can really turn around a Joust game, to be completely honest. But I would say Joust is the most ideal situation to splash in some damage on Ymir. But again, you can really do surprisingly well with just splashing a little bit of damage on him. Just Gilded Arrow, Demonic Grip, those are the only two purely damage items that I had. The rest of it was hybrid or defense. I think that actually the only pure defense one was Breastplate of Valor here. The rest of them were hybrid. But this is generally how you're going to approach Ymir if you want to build him more warrior style. So if you're a warrior main coming into the Guardians and you want to start with Ymir, this is a great build to start with. Not in Conquest necessarily, unless you're going to jump right into solo lane with him, but I would recommend waiting until you really familiarize yourself with how you build a little bit of damage on him. Now, you may wonder, Professor, why not Animosity? Well, there's a couple of problems with Animosity. I'm actually going to go into the God Builder of Ymir to talk about this more. More again. What am I doing? Now, I want to do is we're going to temporarily whack War Flag here so we can do a comparison here of Animosity specifically. Now, we're actually also going to go into Diamond Arrow. Now, Diamond Arrow increases your basic attack damage by 80. Just a flat 80, completely unconditional. Now, keep in mind that this is level 20 Ymir. Alright, I'm going to round up to 2,600 health here, right? Animosity is going to pull 3% of that maximum health as magic damage. So your absolute minimum amount of bonus damage that you're going to be getting, and keep in mind this is a minimum, is going to be 78, right? So you're getting 80 flat here and 78 here. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, Professor, that doesn't include the 400. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. Bring that up, and we're doing 90 bonus damage per auto attack. Now, why do I advocate Diamond Arrow over Animosity when Animosity increases the basic attack damage by 10? There are two problems with Animosity's passive. One, that bonus damage equal to 3% of your max health is not being doubled by Ymir's passive. Alright, this is actually a problem shared with Telkine's Ring. Your basic attacks deal that bonus damage of 10 plus 15% of your magic power, that isn't doubled. That is a separate damage from your basic attacks, because when you hit somebody with Telkine's Ring, or you hit somebody with Animosity, you'll notice two numbers popping up. So let's say I built Animosity, and I swing... Actually, I can exemplify this in a jungle practice. I can actually physically show you. Hold on, let me get into this here. But the problem is bonus damage isn't actually incorporated completely into your basic attack damage, so it's not doubled as per the rules of Ymir's passive. It just is not. Now, I'm going to start at level 1 Ymir, just so we can, and I'll just show you with... no, we can probably go for the full McCoy here. So, we're going to pop in here. Set level to 20, absolutely. Yum. And then we are going to build... Oops, I didn't save that, so we don't have that in there. We're going to build Animosity, right? And now we're going to... I want you to first see the 61 damage. See that yellow 61? Hold on, I think I can actually make that bigger. Combat text scaling. Let's do 2 point. Let's do 2 times. That should work. Nope. I made it a little bigger. Can we maximize that? Yeah. I think that's about all we need. Yeah. Alright, so see that yellow 61? That's the bonus damage from Animosity. Now, the white 47 is my basic attack damage. That's the 69 auto attack damage minus Odin's protections here. Now let's afflict Frostbite. He's got Frostbite. Notice the white number is doubled to 93, but the yellow number has not changed. So we're still doing the 61 damage from Animosity, right? Now let's remove this, right? We had the 61 damage from that. Now let's grab, not Ornate Arrow, what the heck am I doing? Diamond Arrow. Now, notice, my white damage number is 101. So that was, I think it is like 7 less damage than the Animosity was. The Animosity was 61, I was doing 47 with my base damage, right? Now we inflict Frostbite, and now we have 201, right? Now, we were doing 93 plus the 61, so that's 150 there, right? Okay, yes. Wonderful. So we're doing technically 50 less damage per auto attack. But keep in mind that another reason why I recommend Diamond Arrow over Animosity is, yes, we're doing 50 less per hit, but Diamond Arrow gets us attack speed. Furthermore, when we start to incorporate attack speed into the build, I'm going to go ahead and, oops, I need to actually be in the fountain area, don't I? When we incorporate our auto attack speed in here, right? I'm just going to grab the auto attack speed items I built last game, which is these 3. Now we're, doing more, right? Now when we double it, we're actually doing more. And if I were to kill some Odins... Did these Odins die? I can't remember. Do you die? You do not die. I need to go kill Ra. Where's Ra? Ah, here we go. I should probably max these. Now we're going to go ahead and kill him. Right now we have a huge attack speed boost. Right? And now you can absolutely see me decimating. Now keep in mind he's not got any items, obviously. But we're absolutely slapping. He is getting some boosted protections from his Tyloo Assault. And as long as we're, getting, kills here, it's wonderful, right? And my current, we've just got max attacks on Gilded Arrow. That's 2.33 attack speed. It goes down, boom, 1.8, right? But we don't get any of that benefit from Animosity, right? And furthermore, we don't really build a ton of... I would just like to point out that there's not really a ton of extra health going on here. This is 200, right? So that's 6 more damage. This is 150. So that's, I think, rounded up to 5 more damage? This is 100, so that's 3 more damage. So we're doing, 14 extra damage? So, all total, when we have... Actually, we can actually exemplify this here. When we have everything all totaled up, we go from 61 bonus damage to 78, which obviously eventually goes up to 87 when we factor in the Demonic Grip, but we're doing 151 damage here per auto attack, right? That's without Frostbite. 151. With this, we're doing, with full Demonic Grip, we're doing 225. So this, go back to Gilded Arrow. I'm sorry, Diamond Arrow. And now at this point, we are obviously doing 142, which is a little bit less than the 150, what was it, 156, I think? It's about between 10 and 15 damage difference, not too big of a deal. Go with this, now we're suddenly doing 283, which is more than the 225 we were doing earlier. So yes, when the enemy isn't affected by Frostbite, absolutely, Animosity is more effective. The instant we bust out Frostbite, we're doing roughly 60 more damage per auto, and that doesn't even factor in attack speed boosts we get from Diamond Arrows. So, as you can see, if you want to build damage on Ymir, all you really need is Golden Arrow. Is this Golden or Gilded? This is Gilded Arrow. That's the Ornate Arrow. Okay. So all you really need is Gilded Arrow, right? And if you're... And I'm going to show this to you when I play Solo Lane Ymir later on, but when you play Solo Lane Ymir, you're going to want Gilded Arrow. Again, Animosity also doesn't offer us... Let me compare Benevolence really quick to Gilded Arrow. Benevolence, yes, we get a little bit of health, which is nice. We get some MP and HP 5. Not a whole lot. The whole thing with Benevolence is that it heals and gives you gold whenever an ally is nearby. Now, in Clash, this isn't so much of a problem. So if you still want to play Animosity for defensive reasons, that's fine. It's overall almost as effective, right? It just doesn't have the attack speed, and Frostbite isn't quite as important to you. In the solo lane, when you play Ymir in the solo lane, this is terrible. Benevolence is terrible, because you're only going to have this trigger whenever your jungler is in lane with you. Usually. Yeah, sometimes your allied mid might come over. Maybe. That doesn't happen very often. But most consistently, your jungler will be over, and they might not even go into your lane. If they're not ganking, they're not in your lane. They're farting around in the jungle getting the camps. So you're still not going to see this be used. Compare this, though, to Gilded Arrow. You're getting 25 basic attack damage, which is going to double to 50 basic attack damage when you have Frostbite affected on them. You have 50 health, which is only 25 health less than what the Benevolence is offering you, and 3 less MP5. You're missing 3 MP5 and 7 HP5. And the HP5, honestly, it doesn't really make that much of a difference, because you're probably going to have a Chalice of Health anyways, so that doesn't matter. And then, every 10 seconds, you have the option of getting 7 bonus gold, 7 bonus gold, and 20 extra attack speed, and restoring 20 mana every time you kill your target, your gold target, I guess I will call it, right? That's pretty huge. You can kill a minion in the wave, usually the front one, and then turn around with that bonus attack speed and slap your enemy, right? And then 10 seconds into the fight, another minion crops up with a target. Kill them really quick. Maybe you just hit them with a Glacial Strike. Maybe you hit them with a Frost Breath while you're stunning the enemy god in lane. Finish them off, and you just restored 20 of your mana. You just got another 20% attack speed, right? It can really do a lot of damage in the solo lane. So if you're building, if you want to splash a little bit of damage into Ymir, that's the way to do it. Even if you build no other items that benefit your auto attacks, that item alone will help you deal some damage. This actually is somewhat of an important topic, because just a couple of nights ago, I was playing casually. I was working on getting Tiamat to Diamond. So I was playing casually, I was playing Conquest for the Worshippers, and, you know, ultimately I don't care if I win or lose. As long as I get Worshippers, I'm fine. But the support player in that game, he hated support. Well, I say they hated support. And they really didn't want to play the role, but nobody would trade with them, so they played it. And I'll be really honest here, they were really good. I'm not going to shout out their username, though. They were mildly toxic, but that's due to the frustration of playing a role they don't like, so I'm going to let that one slide. But they didn't like the role, and I suggested, you know, play Ymir. They didn't take my suggestion, oddly enough, but if you really don't like playing support, play a normal support Ymir, except grab Gilded Arrow, and you can still deal a little bit of decent damage and still be building really tanky. You'll notice here, again, I would like to reiterate, the only purely damage item that I built in this build was Demonic Grip. It's the only thing in this build that does not provide you protections or health, or both, right? Other than Gilded Arrow, obviously. And that's all you need for, you know, impressive amounts of damage. Again, I would like to reiterate, with Frostbite, you're dealing 250 plus damage. Now, again, Odin doesn't have any protections, which is fair enough. But this is the kind of damage you'd be dealing to your average hunter, your average mage, your average assassin, even if they're not building hybrid like they normally do. Maybe you have a particularly aggressive enemy assassin. Maybe the enemy Bastet is focusing purely on damage. It happens. And you can absolutely see. I want to actually exemplify this. Watch as I go in here and I tear apart Neath. Right? Now I'll kill her. Freeze her. And before the freeze ends, she's 2 hits away from death. Right? Hit her with this. And slap. Now keep in mind, that's actually a fair approximation because most hunters don't build any form of protection. They really don't. Freeze him, and he'll be almost dead by the time he unfreezes. And then he's dead 2 hits later. Right? And that's pretty typical of your fight with squishier targets like mages and ADCs. They just don't build protections. Right? So, I just really wanted to demonstrate both the math and the actual build of a really nice hybrid Ymir. It works really well if you're really not a huge fan of support, or if you think your team just needs that little bit of extra damage. Go for it. Now, are there situations where I would sit down and recommend you grab Gilded Arrow on a support role Ymir, besides hating the role of support? Yes. Say your jungler is Cabrakan. Alright? Cabrakan doesn't necessarily hit very hard in the early game, so having a little bit of extra damage can really help. If you just like the extra damage of Gilded Arrow in general, if you play support, if you're a support main and you want to try something new, throw Gilded Arrow on your normal support Ymir build. Whatever starter item you normally get, probably Sentinel's Gift, but not necessarily. But go for that. I've demonstrated how effective War Flag can be. You all know this. War Flag in general is really strong in this meta. Same thing with Sentinel's Gift. No one can argue about the effectiveness of Sentinel's Gift. But Gilded Arrow is worth a look, because it will get you gold, even if you're not getting the gold. You know, despite not getting gold from Sentinel's Gift, you'll still get the gold you need, right? And it can really turn around duo lane early game if you're aggressive enough with it. Now keep in mind, if you're going to build a Gilded Arrow almost normal support Ymir, but with Gilded Arrow, try and communicate really clearly with your ADC. Ideally, you party up with your ADC and you duo queue, and you're both looking to go into the dual lane. That's a way better idea because you can communicate who you're going to be going for. Your hunter can go, your ADC can go right on them and help you out. That's a much better idea. You will notice that I don't normally play Gilded Arrow as a support Ymir because these episodes, I play them solo, so I don't have, teammates or allies interrupting, say, a particular piece of instruction. So all of these, educational SMITE videos are going to be me in solos. So I'm not going to build Gilded Arrow in the support role as Ymir. It's too risky. I can't communicate clearly with my allies. I can, say attack, but I'm not... Sometimes it's really obvious who I'm going for, but not always. And it's just not something that I would be comfortable doing with randoms, right? But if you're, queuing up with a friend, you're the support, they're the ADC, boom, throw that Gilded Arrow in there. Communicate with them. Hey, I'm going to go onto this guy. We can really slap this person down. Fantastic, right? And I think you'll find that Hybrid Ymir is a little bit more effective than maybe you give him credit for. Now again, final word of warning, and I will reiterate this until I die. Solo Ymir has a sustain problem. He does not have any inherent way to heal himself or restore his mana. Yes, Gilded Arrow will help with the mana to some extent, but that's only 20 flat mana every 10 seconds. It's really helpful, but it's not as good as, say, having it built into his kit, or in his passive, or something like that. But, be that as it may, Ymir can work very well in the solo lane. He can work really well with a bit of damage. You just have to, again, make sure you're somewhat customizing your build to the situation. The one thing I would say are constants for a hybrid Ymir or a warrior Ymir are Gilded Arrow, Breastplate of Valor. I can't even remember the last time I didn't build Breastplate of Valor. It's been that long. But ever since they came out with Gilded Arrow, which was at the beginning of last stinking year, Gilded Arrow Ymir has been my favorite way of building damage on Ymir. Now you'll notice I did not go into the Ornate Arrow. There are two reasons for this. First, that is physical strike chance, you get no critical hit out of this. So there's that. Second, it gives you less basic attack damage, which is really important for Frostbite. I just really like the 80 basic attack damage out of this. I really like the 20% attack speed boost here every time you get a kill, which, as I just demonstrated with the Neath and the Ra, it's not too difficult for Ymir, even with only 2 pure attack items, to eliminate one of these two, right? So I hope this really opens your eyes to maybe splashing some damage on Ymir. It can be incredibly potent if you know what you're doing, if the team composition is correct, if everything is even slightly correct. There isn't a whole lot of conditions to this. But give it a try, and, go for whatever you prefer playing. I recommend Demonic Grip. I recommend, obviously, Gilded Arrow. I recommend Breastplate of Valor. The other 3 I typically use as flex slots. I don't always build Toxic Blade. I don't always build Shogun's Kusari, and I don't always build Stone of Fall. I often build Shogun's Kusari. Most of the time. I would say 90% of the time I build Shogun's Kusari. But there is the occasional moment where I don't. Other than that, go for it. Have a blast. Tell me what you think of, your own experiences with it. If you have a rough time at the beginning, that's normal. It took me a little while to figure out exactly how I wanted to do this. This didn't come to me naturally. I saw the Gilded Arrow. I did some tests, which I basically repeated my tests that I did when I first saw Gilded Arrow. I repeated them here, basically, which was just running in there and slapping around some Odin bots with Gilded Arrow compared to Animosity. And Gilded Arrow is just better for that. So I hope this taught you something new about Ymir. If you liked this, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, please ignore me. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, ideas, suggestions, or requests, please leave them down in the comment section below. And, also share with me your personal Damage Ymir experiences. I would love to hear them. I mean, I run these series educating you on, right now, so far, only Guardians, but I intend on branching out to everyone. And I have a particular way I like to build. It's not the only way to build. Like I said, there's 3 items here that I recommend you at least always use. And even then, you don't necessarily have to always use them. Maybe you don't like Demonic Grip. Maybe you like Voidstone. Go for it, right? But I would love to hear what you like on Damage Ymirs, right? Or at least Hybrid Ymirs. I don't, like I said at the beginning of the episode, I don't like full Damage Ymir because Ice Wall doesn't really use it. And if you whiff your ult, which is pretty easy to do, because escapes, your ult isn't really going to get a lot of the benefit from that. So I don't really like full damage Ymir, but hybrid Ymir with this, with focusing on the auto attacks, that's something I love. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me, and have a great 24 hours.